You have, in all of your books, you have the serial killers, major violence. We're
Yeah.
looking at people, facing death penalty sentences. We're looking at
Right.
child pornography. We're talking really
Oh, you have read
heavy,
everything. Bless your heart.
really heavy-hitting
Yeah.
storylines.
Yeah.
What makes you come back to these kinds of stories, especially when they can get really hard to read?
I like dealing with social issues through crime writing. I'm not interested in books that are a written version of a Schwarzenegger movie where 300 people die in fiery cataclysms of death, where you don't care about the characters. It's just a body count. I'm not interested in body counts. And actually, if you read the text thoroughly, I actually don't kill a lot of people in my books. The slaughter level, if you will, is far less than some other major writers do. But people are very chilled by it because it's emotional violence. You're very engaged with the characters. You're very engaged with the serial killers, or the killers that are not serial killers, but that come in and out of the stories. I like weaving it into a larger social commentary. Not necessarily ones I agree with, but that the characters would agree with just because of who they are. So I use my characters to debate in issues that I'm interested in social issues. So we get into, like this third book, Mexican drug cartels are now bringing the violence of Mexico into the United States. I mean, it's horrific down there. They're decapitating police chiefs, putting their heads in toilets as warnings. They're slaughtering whole families. The violence is off the scale there. It's coming into the United States now because it's a market pressure. We need to sell more drugs. The cops are getting better. The DEA is getting better. So we're going to start killing them too. So I explore that issue a lot in this current book, in Torn Apart. And it helps that these people are really nasty-ass gangbanger types.
How do you do your research for these type of people? I'm assuming you don't go and associate with a whole lot of serial killers or drug dealers.
No, not that many.
Not
They
so
won't
many.
return my phone calls.
So how do you really get into their heads and really create realistic depictions of these criminals?
I was a journalist for 25 years. I read newspapers incessantly. The old on-paper type and online. My family, I came from a family of cops and firefighters. My dad was a cop for 30 years. So I understand the culture, and I used to listen to the stories. Cops are great storytellers.
Yes.
And they really are. You sit around in a bar at night and talk to three of them, and you just hear these hilarious stories. They're really good at it because they see mankind at its worst. And to protect themselves from the emotional harm of that's what you do all day, every day, it gets really funny with the dark humor. And I love those kind of stories. So I incorporate a lot of that into the books. But in terms of the research, I just try to put myself inside the head of a psychotic serial killer or inside the head of a 5-year-old child being kidnapped. How would I feel if that happened to me or happened to somebody I loved? So when I'm writing each scene, I really do become that character. I think like they do, and somehow it works out. I seem to be able to slip into those roles kind of like an actor. And in a way, writers are actors. You have to be part of your character to bring that emotional side out of the character, and that's what I'm able to do well.